Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. It is Friday, July 26th, and you are watching the Daily AI Show live. Today we have Jyunmi, we have Andy back from travel, and we have Karl, and I'm Beth. And today we're so excited. We're talking to you about a specific a SaaS product, right? Company providing AI as a SaaS, but also the larger concept of that being a model that companies are diving into. So we hope that you're really excited to join us. We're really excited. I'm going to turn it over to Karl, who's going to give us a little bit of an orientation about the company that inspired the conversation today. Karl.
Sure. So I'm going to present my screen. And let's see. Okay. So I guess this company is called Get Floor Plans, but I want to give a little bit more context. So I used to work for a home builder and developer who part of the process is when they develop new homes, townhomes, whatever new residential property, they have to obviously create, what the concept is. And part of that concept is making a drawing, then getting black lines or floor plans created. And then from those floor plans, you start building. They use architects and CAD experts to start bringing those things to life. So, for example, here we have a floor plan, 8 floor plans. Typical floor plans you'd see from any home builder or really anyone who builds homes, custom, private, public, whatever, just typical floor plans. Now, normally with these floor plans, what happens is, again, you take it to architects, CAD to bring it to life, animators and so on. But this company, all you need to do is upload your floor plan. So this is a more professional floor plan, but even before, and I couldn't find it, me and the person who works there, she actually drew a floor plan by hand, or someone did. It didn't look this good. It was just a square with here's where I think the balcony, here's where I think the washrooms are. And that was our first test. So we loaded it and it didn't have all these features. It had only 2 things, a 2D model and 3D model. That's it. And I'll show you examples of both. So all we did was upload it. And the next day we got 2D, 3D, and a 360 tour. And that's something that a lot of home builders would pay anywhere between $500, $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 to have people recreate their floor plans into models such as this. But now we're getting into the $20, $35, $45, $35 range. Obviously, with those professional services, you can't, if there's any adjustments to be made, you can't really do that here, right? Because it just recreates based on your drawing, and it's not like you can actually change the furniture, you can't change the color, you can't change the amenities inside the rooms. Although if I was Get Floor Plans, that would be something I would recommend them to do. So here's an example of the 2D models. So we gave them this, right? And the next day we get things like this. And you get the whole bunch of them, tons of them. Now, the cool thing is we actually got 360 models. So now we get to move around. This is, I think, the bedroom, but what you can do is you can click this thing. You go into the ensuite, then you click this out, and then I think that's just the bedroom. We got, I don't know where this is. This is maybe, let's zoom out a little bit. I think I'm in some sort of closet space. Back to the bedroom, but this one. Okay, so we're in one of the main rooms. We can go here. Oh, and you can see where you are, right? She's like, oh, I want to be here. I want to be here. I want to be here, and so on and so forth. I want to see what's inside the washroom. I want to see. So obviously, this isn't what the home is going to look like, because there's still a lot of work that's done from an actual rendering, from an actual what the show home will look like. But it really, really brings that initial drawing to life. And then you have the option of just going 2D, then you actually having 3D, and then the actual, hey, let's do a virtual tour. So I thought that was a really, really interesting business concept that what was interesting is not very many home builders actually know about. So if you're on the show and you're a home builder or no home builders, this is something that could really help them out. But it leads to, so first of all, to the team, what are your thoughts on just this service?
Let me comment on this. This is a great sort of edge example of taking a business process, in this case, visualization of floor plans in the pipeline of development of an architectural plan that can be taken by the actual general contractors and built into reality. That business process has been automated to the degree that overnight, instead of having to, connect with, graphic designers or people who have CAD systems that can do 2D and 3D visualizations, it just all flows through from a sketch or from actual floor plans that are being generated by some other component of the process. So really, just to generalize this, what we're seeing is business processes being substantially automated by AI tools. Now, other examples of that would be like sales assistants that can automate lead generation and qualification and outreach in the sales pipeline. Brian, our colleague who works for sales consulting agencies, really at the heart of that. Like, how can we use AI tools to fundamentally change that sales, funnel process? Another would be recruiting and HR. There's AI tools that will, substantially replace the humans that do a lot of those processes, like, for example, screening resumes, for example, and another might be for, actually scheduling and managing the interviews and actually calling out to the interviewees and setting them up. That would normally take a human. Or customer service. Those are typical business processes. They're at the sort of the vanguard of automation by AI. So taking a specific business process, in this case, floor plan visualization, and that would normally done by a series of steps with humans and cost quite a bit of money. Why it might cost $1,000 or several $1,000s to actually generate that, which is a small amount in the context of building a $500,000 home or something like that. So it's not just enabling access to AI tools. It's really replacing a whole human with a bunch of AI supported processes that replace the humans in the process. So I see it as part of the bigger issue of how are we using AI in very specific niche business applications, and what's the import of that for more rapid and efficient delivery of these processes, bringing down their cost, but also with this tangential impact, which is it's replacing a lot of the work that was being done by humans and their monkey fingers, as Karl's fond to say.
Well, I have a question, Karl. Do they offer a automated pipeline for this, like an API or something like that?
I've never explored it, so I guess you can go to the website and figure that. I don't can have. I know where you're going with that.
Right. Well, because what I most like about AI in SaaS or AIAAS is that, like Andy said, it's an automated process, or it provides more automation, right? And if you could access the product just as sort of a module, right? Part of your business processes. You need to do X, Y, and Z. But if you can connect to it, make your request, get your output in an automated fashion, then you've just increased your capabilities for whatever, whatever
Well,
that you're,
okay, so I'm going to present it again. And I think, again, back to the home builders who really should be thinking about this. Let's go back to, so I've just clicked on enterprise, which I never clicked before. Who is this for? Real estate listing, brokerage firm, so on. How does it work? Transfer via API. There it is. AI magic. Can you explain to me more what this means? Visuals can be optionally checked by humans, which is very interesting, and then returned in 1 minute. So just to give you a little bit more context, like I think I mentioned it too, home builders, they spend a lot of money on internal teams creating architects and CAD pros to do all this stuff, to build this. Like we're talking tens to 20s of thousands per model. What you just saw is 1,000 floor plans in 1 minute. What does that has a big impact on that industry if people knew this existed. But most people don't. And it's very interesting that none of the big real estate companies that I know of are like, hey, why don't we just contract this and we can get it? You won't, I guess the thing is though, you won't get the individual details. So like, hey, I want you to remove this door, open this, do this. Somebody will still have to recreate it, but that doesn't matter because a human will have to do this, but all this stuff, yeah, I can just imagine.
Well, that third step that you showed there, QA, it says, but this may require a human reviewing and approving or modifying the generated designs. And so they already have that as a part of their business flow, if you will. So there's a human in the loop there. I wanted to offer another example, which is bookkeeping in accounting. So there's normally a company would have to hire bookkeepers to process invoices, categorize their expenses, and generate financial statements and so on. But an AI bookkeeping service, and there are a couple of them out there I know of, and maybe more, they use AI to automatically identify the data that's necessary from the invoices, reconcile transactions against bank statements, produce financial reports, all without many humans being involved at all. So that means that there are fewer bookkeepers required in those companies that use these. And one of the examples that I saw, it's called Vic.ai, integrates with virtually any ERP system, whether it's Sage Intacct or NetSuite or any of those things that do accounting functions. But this is also part of the idea of taking the really rote, mind-numbing, stupid things that monkey fingers have to do and automating those so that humans can focus more on the more difficult things like data analysis from the financial reports that are coming in. But of course, AI is getting better and better at that as well. So this also brings up this other issue around all of these automation of business functions, which is a lot of the rote, or low-level processes are where entry-level humans get the experience and training that's necessary for them to understand the overall context of the company and its operations and become experienced enough to be able to provide higher-level overview and functions that humans can provide today that AI would have difficulty, until and unless, of course, we get to the point where there's a very intelligent reasoning, articulate verbal assistant with a video avatar that can actually fulfill the role of one of the employees that right now is sitting in one of these more difficult positions.
So I want to speak to that a little bit and also expand the conversation a little bit, because I think what we're seeing is a democratization or a raising all the boats so that more people can have access to this. One of the reasons that I was excited about the floor plan thing is that if you have engaged in home, right? Like if you move somewhere, if you've bought something, if you've dreamed that you're going to be able to build something, like floor plans are a relatively common thing that people engage with at some point throughout their life, and often at many points throughout their life. This gives you, at a very low price barrier to entry, the ability to play back and forth with them. And one of the things that I've found is that most people cannot imagine in 3D, right? So it's hard to say like, oh, we're just going to put the tall dresser over here or something like that, and they don't know what that is. They don't know how that's going to look. And this is one of those pieces that can then say, oh, okay, so this is what that would look like. I remember when we added a deck to the back of our house, probably 20 years ago. I took a photo and I drew the deck, right? Like I drew the deck so that you could see what it was going to look like on the back of the house. I would not need to do that now, right? So.
Sorry, and two, I never actually like really reviewed the site. You can change the interior furniture, colors, and walls, but a human has to do it. So you have to just talk to their quality assurance team and they'll do it for you. I don't know how good it will be, but that just opens up even more, which then it's like, wait a minute, so why am I actually using architects and so on, or whoever else, when I can just build this out? This is fantastic. So it does, the thing that to me this whole thing gets around is the concept that I think I don't know if we talked about it or it's been floating around, is it used to be software as a service, but it's service as a software, where I think Dharmesh Shah called it our AIaaS. I forgot what was the acronym, but it was more about providing the benefits using AI, and so the people get what they want. They don't necessarily have to use the AI. This company says AI magic. Whatever they're using to render this out, to create this in 24 hours, a lot of people you don't need to use it. They just need the outcome, right?
Right. And again, it's the kind of thing like if you have, if you are imagining something that has not, if you're working with an architect and an architect is saying, like, I don't think so, that's not really going to work in this space, you again have the ability to go to this, put your idea in, and then take that, because now you're comparing like to like. Before, the architect was the one who could create the schematic, right? To create the blueprint, create those floor plan diagrams. I don't know if they do floor plans, but you're able to elevate what you can present without understanding everything you needed to know to be able to build it, to someone who knows all the things in order to build it, right? Like it's that kind of piece. I think it's actually very much like a language translation.
Yeah, I really like the analogy of people don't need to know it does not matter what the AI is doing or how the AI is working, right? Because they're only concerned about what the results are, what the end result. I want my output. And I think that might be a future look of these business processes. Is here, it's automated. Here's my module. This is my service that I send it off to. I've tied it into my business, so I can do all my processes. It's all automated for me. I send the basic information. They send me the results, and that's it. I don't need additional extra layers. I don't, and as I develop more or need more processes for my business, I'll just go find the service provider and then just connect it in. And and for me, that sounds great. I just want all of these modules out there that I can connect my business to and let it run.
Sorry, so that was the term that Dharmesh was using, and I posted it in the on YouTube. The chat there is results as a service. So Dharmesh says people don't want drills, they want holes. So they don't care how you want, like whatever tool, right? It's if I get my floor plans, I get my floor plan. If I get whatever the SaaS tool is using, I get it. So what do you all think about the revolution or the evolution or the destruction, whatever you think about it, of SaaS products in general? Because I've always been interested at the heart of it. SaaS product is like a software that a company has built and licensed that functionality to different companies for them to use it. And they train people to use it, Salesforce, HubSpot. But if an AI can do what the outcome you're looking for, or an agent can do it for you, where does that put the SaaS industry or like a majority of the SaaS tools in the market?
Yeah, let me use the accounts receivable example to answer that question. So, software as a service would give you a computer screen that, the invoices that, you have already issued kind of present themselves with an analysis of aging, how long ago you presented those invoices to your customers and which ones haven't been paid yet. And then, it lists the company and what the amount is and a telephone number. Now I've got to pick up the phone and call that company and say, hey, look, our terms are 30 days net. You're 60 days out. What's going on? Well, service as a software would do all that automatically behind the scenes without a human. So it's managing all of the invoices that you presented and knows exactly which ones. It'll give you a report that says, here's the total and here's the drill down. And I've called this person 3 times. It's time for this one. And I have a natural voice and I explain everything to the customer that, they have to pay. And if not, here's the next step. And the next step is I'm going to send this to collections, right? Now, there's an opportunity for another company that focuses on the collections process to evaluate the likelihood of payment, with data analysis. And then I ship that over to this other service function that is the collections module. And all of that's related to accounts receivable. But there's internally, just like today, we have services internal to the company, like, HR is really not outward facing. It's inward facing. It's an internal service operation. Every component of a business can be understood as a service, and each of those services can be automated. And then you get to this vision of services as software driven by AI, all the way through and to including communicating with external. And then we're talking about agents, right? So now that function inside the company that normally required a human to pick up the phone and make a decision to call somebody and put some pressure on them. Now that whole process is driven by an agent that knows what the rules of engagement are with external customers and so on, knows everything about the brand, can talk knowledgeably to the customer about issues that they may be presenting that are causing a delay in their payment. All of those things, service as a software. That's the future. And it's not going to happen with general purpose AIs that are agents with high levels of reason. It's going to be companies like Floorplan focusing on a micro process and delivering that component of it. And then eventually you have this multi-agent environment that's doing all these processes, and they can hand it off to another agent. Like, I'm run out of my options, so I got to send it over to this agent, one of which might be a supervisor agent that says, okay, now I have to involve a human here because this is getting out of hand. we have $150,000 of accounts receivable from this company. This means that I've got to have the human in the loop, authorize a termination of their ability to purchase from us.
Absolutely. I love that vision that you've placed there. I want my agents to go interact with other agents to handle it for me. I think that's the biggest thing I'm taking from all of this, service as a software and all of this AI implementation is I can use my agents to accomplish far more goals than I'd be able to do on my own. And that's what I'm really looking forward. So OpenAI, get on it. Thank you.
Well, and we've early on, what is time in the age of AI? At one point in our engagement together, we have talked about the one-person unicorn, right? I think, in fact, that was a Sam Altman idea. The one-person unicorn is very likely using a ton of AI as software, right? Like service as a SaaS, because that means that they're only keeping the piece that is actually them. They need to be there, but they're outsourcing the other options, I think. What do you think, Andy?
Yes. I think that it would a high value process like accounts receivable, to go back to that example, like the very best AR clerks, we call them, are the ones that can really collect a lot of the backlog of payments, because people who are buying things from you in an industrial and or sort of enterprise context, they want to maximize their cash flow by delaying their payments to you to the point possible,
right,
without penalty. And meanwhile, you want to get the cash in as fast as you can in order to reduce your capital requirements. So the very best, these people way down in the accounting organization, accounts receivable clerks, are the ones who just magically, through their personality and their persistence and their organization inside their thing, in their workspace, they get those collections happening. And I've seen it happen. Like we've got this huge backlog, and then some new person gets in the role, and bang, like 2 months later, things are really clicking, and we're getting our money in really, really well. Well, all of that is going to be, the province of really sophisticated AIs focused on that one process, getting our customers to pay us earlier and at least on time.
And so this to me gets into the whole that 5 levels that we saw, the Bloomberg article about OpenAI, where you're like, okay, level 2, reasoning, level 3, agents. So if you have, when we talk about results as a service or service as a software, where you have your AI who has the higher level reasoning, where it gets the nuances and the context of what you want it to do. So whether it's accounts payable, whether, hey, I need these floor plans, it gets it, and then it goes, finds, it connects with, I think we have to also think that businesses would have their own agents to go out, right? So our agents would connect with their agents, and then how would that work? So we may never, ever have to even upload this thing to get floor plans. We would just say, we would upload it to our custom GPT, which I still believe is your agent, and give it the instruction, hey, I need a floor plan for this. Could you go find it for me? And it would connect and be like, here's 3 options. This is the cost. Do you want to execute? Do you want to go? Yes, I want to go. And then it would all that interaction with that company would come back, or it'd be like, hey, give me, what does it look like? Give me some options. And then it would do that for you. Now you still have the opportunity to go to their website and interact, but you don't have to. You can allow your agent how comfortable you are to, maybe it comes in steps. Maybe it's, hey, the first part is get that initial, hey, what are the 5 companies? What are the 6 companies? Okay, now I'm going to visit. or hey, narrow it down to 3 based on my price point, my location, whatever. So now I'm like, okay, great. Go to that site, and then you make the final decision, or you trust your agent to do the same thing. But I'm very curious about how a business would then leverage their agent to go out and find the people who would want to use their product, because a business that would be something that they would want it to do. Like, how do I find the people who are looking for my service, and how do I connect with them?
Well, I suspect that what we're going to see is the same kind of adoption that we've seen pre-AI, right? So most people try the regular way first, right? So like, what's the, I don't have to think about it. This is a very well beaten path for me to get the result that I'm looking for. And then they don't. Like a certain percentage of people peel off. They don't get that. So they try the next 2, the next 3, maybe options that are likely. Now you have a pool of people for whom the regular path is just not meeting their needs for whatever reason. I suspect that's going to be your first adoption. And then as those stories start to peel out, because not only did I get my need met, right? We can write the ad now. Not only did the AI listen to me more than the other that I talked to, it was, I spent 1/10 of what I spent to have these disappointing conversations all the way up to now. That's like the marketing story that I think we're going to see and over and over and over again.
And that final point, we've been talking about AI agents speaking to humans, and that's a really cool capability. But remember, it's going to ultimately be AI agents talking to AI agents. Just like today, you can send an email to ar@companyname.com, and it's going to go to the accounts receivable department, right? Eventually, your agent that's trying to collect, to use my ongoing AR example, is going to talk to the agent inside the company that receives all inbound communications with respect to accounts payable. Mm-hmm. So I got that a little confused. I'm the AR guy. I'm talking to AP in that company, so I have to talk to the AP agent and understand, through our interaction, why I'm not getting paid on time.
It's Jen and Justin said, have my people call your people? Nope. Have my bots call your bots.
That's great.
And that's the thing, is like but that requires the sophistication of the agent to understand what you're looking for, and the sophistication of the business agent to understand. And there's still some things that you would either not get it or be like, hey, I can't understand this. You actually have to talk to the business. You have to actually interact. We need your monkey fingers to do whatever you need to do, because we can't do this. So, and then I was thinking, let's tack on one piece to it, would be voice capability, right? So when you say talk, so there's the agent component, but then you're like, are you going to be talking to your agent too? Like, not just typing it out and be like, hey, upload this, do this, I need you to do this. And it responds like, yes, okay, sounds good. Do you want this? No. Okay, do you go to the website? And then you're actually having that conversation as it's doing its agentic feature. And then it's like, well, I can't really do this. Could you talk to the agent? Could you talk to Get Floor Plans agent? Sure. And then now you're having a conversation with the Get Floor Plans agent about what you specifically need. And then you're just drilling down. Oh, okay. And now I get it. Here's this task.
I think one of the things that we're actually really close to, people have note takers or things in AI in conversation that's transcribing, and then also looking at, like, did I miss anything? Did like, how was my communication? How was their communication? We're really very close to being able to Q&A and AI, like, why didn't they understand me? Mm-hmm. Right? And the AI is going to be able to say, so when you use this word, that meant them to them, right? That when you used a word that was like an industry lingo kind of thing, they had in their head, this is my AI talking to me like this, because that's not how your AI is going to talk to you. But the AI is going to know that you used a word that implied something, and that shifted the entire conversation so that that's what they were talking about now. So that kind of education is actually possible right now. Mm-hmm. When we move, like, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months ahead, now you're going to have an AI in your ears saying, oh, no, you need to clarify that word. Based on what they just said to you, they didn't understand what you said. This is the phrase that I would suggest you use, right? And now you're still a person having that conversation, but you're an AI-informed person having the conversation. And so those sorts of things can start to be past time. Yeah.
It gets me to, I don't know, you've all probably seen the person who's in an interview looking at ChatGPT, feeding that interview's question into ChatGPT, getting the answer and regurgitating that answer to the interviewee, right? So forget that. You have your earpiece connected to your computer and it can see and hear the person talking, and you're like, and then it's just, so before the interview, you are my blah, blah, blah. I need you to give me advice as how to answer every single one of these questions in a manner that is this. Here's the context. Here's what I want you to do in very short sentences, or like match the tone of the interviewer. Review the facial expression and give me
That's a great idea, but that's not going to happen. As soon as I'm on a phone call and I'm having to try to enter into an argument with a customer, and my wife is trying to tell me in this ear, no, I'm totally lost.
See, I don't think it will be like that. I think the interviewer is doing the exact same thing. The interviewer's made up their agent that says, okay, I'm going to be interviewing someone and I need you to come up with these questions, put it in this tone, and read their facial expressions to know how they're reacting. And essentially what they'll need to do is interviewee and interviewer agents should just talk.
Yeah, you know what?
We sound good. I have all of my interviewees' history. I have all of the interviewers or company's history. Is it a good fit? Good. All right. Move to the final stage. Yeah, my AI says your AI's got a pretty good handle on you. You fool? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
you know, just make it super easy, right? I know recruiters have a hard time, and I know job appliers are having a hard time. So let's just cut through all of that and just go straight to it, and yeah.
Did we just move from monkey fingers to puppet mouths?
Yes.
No.
You heard it here first on the Daily AI Show, everybody.
Oh my goodness. Yes. That is the world that we are now going from. We went from get floor plans to AI agents talking to each other, who hired each other. And then the only problem there is like, wait a minit.
We don't need those humans.
We don't need to hear that. Why is it running the catheter?
Hey, that's not a bad premise as long as humans are taken care of. as long as they love us, we're fine.
Yeah.
So when you start to see the floor plan come back with like, kick out the stairs, we definitely don't need the stairs, the couch, like we got nothing.
Empty room. Empty room.
We made it so much better. See? This really works for everyone.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. Karl, do you have something you want to say to wrap up?
No, I think we went down different paths. It was kind of funny where we went down, but I think there is a really big piece with results as a service, service as a software, where, things like get floor plans gives you the output without you having to understand or use the AI. And I think there's definitely room for services like that, where companies just can't afford an architect or can't afford all this stuff. It's like, hey, for $35, I get all this, and that's all I need. And, for $100, I can get more, no problems. I'm good, my business is good. And I think if you think about that, and for our audience, think about the disruption there and where that actually will lead to. So I guess we'll leave it at that.
Okay. Well, thanks so much. This was a great conversation. Thanks to everyone who joined us. Cisco, Jude, Jen, and Justin. We really appreciate our morning crew. Thanks for all the people who joined us as well. Next week, we will be talking about, we're going to test 4.0 Mini against our best prompts on Monday. Tuesday, we're going to talk about who owns your data, who owns your likeness, avatars, and you. This is a question you need to be asking. Who owns your voice? Who owns your likeness data? Wednesday, we'll be doing the news. Thursday, we're going to talk about empathy in humans, and Friday is going to be our bi-weekly recap show. So we'll talk about everything we talked about this week and next week. And until then, go check out our website, sign up for our newsletter. We're going to have some great stuff for you on Sunday at thedailyAIshow.com. If you have ideas that you would like to see a show about, send us an email or do the contact thing on thedailyAIshow.com. Thanks, everybody. Are you watching opening ceremonies of the Olympics tonight? Let us know what you think about that. And have a good weekend.
Aloha.